Ashish Mehta, who has a track record of successful teaching and education reform in this field, and he has been a professor of mass media across various institutions, film and television and new media production at SVKM's Usha Pravin Gandhi College of Arts, Science and Commerce. He has also worked closely with the Films Division, Ministry of Information Broadcasting, Government of India, for organizing the 16th and 17th Mumbai International Film Festival. Everyone knows MIFF. He is here to support, enrich and cultivate creative minds. So we will have Ashish Mehta ji actually introducing the panel, because most of the panel, almost everyone in the panel are very closely known to him, and it will be good when he knows everyone to actually introduce them in a particular typical style and then bring them to you. Many of you here and those who will be joining are aspirant actors, aspirant performers, so you will see some of them who were merely aspirants only a few years ago and today great performers. So over to you, Mr. Ashish Mehta, advisor, curator, moderator for the session on breaking stereotypes in cinema, the role of new age directors. Mr. Mehta, please.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, distinguished guests and aspiring filmmakers. Welcome to one of the Asia's largest career fest, the Edutainment show. Today, I have the privilege of hosting a panel discussion on the topic that is both timely and crucial. Breaking stereotypes in cinema, the role of new age directors. In an industry often defined by established norms and traditional narratives, it is the fresh and visionary perspective of young directors that are shaping the future of filmmaking today. Today, we have gathered a group of remarkable emerging talents who have fearlessly challenged convention, shattered the stereotypes, and paved the way for the new era of storytelling. This panel discussion presents a unique opportunity for all of us to gain insights from these rising stars of the film industry. We will explore their journeys, creative processes, and the invaluable lessons they have learned while challenging the status quo. By breaking free from the shackles of stereotypes, these directors have given a voice to the marginalized, expanded representations, and brought to light stories that resonate with a diverse and global audience. Through this discussion, we hope to uncover the secrets behind their unique approach to storytelling, the challenges they encountered along the way, and the immense impact their work has had on breaking down barriers in the cinematic landscape. By embracing their bold visions, we can ignite conversations to inspire change in our own creative endeavors. So let us come together in celebration of the visionary spirits amongst us, as we privilege to learn from their experiences, be inspired by their achievements, and gain deeper understanding of how we, too, can challenge stereotypes and contribute to the vibrant tapestry in storytelling. Get ready to embark on the journey of enlightenment, empowerment, and entertainment. As we dive into the world of these remarkable young film directors, thank you for joining us in this exciting endeavor where we discover the untapped tapestry that lies within the realms of breaking stereotypes in cinema. So without any further wait, let me introduce to my first panelist, Mr. Kabeer Khurana. Mr. Kabeer Khurana is a visionary filmmaker based in Mumbai, known for creating impactful and socially relevant films with thought-provoking concept and a strong emotional core. He sheds light on important social issues and offers fresh perspectives. Kabeer has won over 9 international awards and received a Filmfare Award nomination for his exceptional short films, including Project Oneness, Religion of Dummies, Karma Cafe, Dali, Hangout, Suttabazi, Cuddles, Dramayama. Kabeer has recently directed a commercial for Capri Loans, starring Hardik Pandya and Shubman Gill. Continues to push boundaries and use film as a catalyst for change, inspiring conventions and challenging societal norms. Kabeer Khurana as an emerging force reshaping the landscape of contemporary cinema. Kabeer Khurana. My second panelist is Ms. Ria, who is multi-talented filmmaker and artist in a diverse range of experiences. Ria's debut film, Kaske Pakad, earned her first place at IFP 2021. Her short films, including Mogra and Magic Eraser, showcased her versatility and storytelling prowess, earning her recognition from Netflix Take 10 and Sony Future Filmmakers. Recognized for her talent and dedication, Ria was funded by Netflix and Film Companion for her satirical sci-fi film, Home 2. She has also been invited twice as a TEDx speaker, youth speaker, using her voice to inspire self-confidence and make a positive impact through art and volunteering. Driven by creativity and ambition, Ria inspires to leave a profound mark as an artist, inspiring others to follow their passion. With her unique voice and commitment to making the difference, she continues to make strides as filmmaker, artist, and an impactful individual. We have Ria. The third guest is Ms. Jia Singh, who is an independent filmmaker and performance artist based in Mumbai, known for her compelling work in short films, documentaries, and music videos. With short film projects like Innocence, Andar Bahar, and Arm, Jia explores themes of gender, sexuality, and intimacy. Her films aim to provide a moving, sensational experience for viewers, inviting them to delve into the thought-provoking narratives. Jia's exceptional talent and unique artistic approach have garnered attention from esteemed publications such as Vogue Italia, Femina, and Alma Man, which have featured her in the articles like Women on Rise, and Jia and Her Fire. Her work has been showcased at prestigious national and international festivals, further cementing her reputation as a remarkable filmmaker. Jia's dedication to storytelling and her ability to evoke emotion through her art continued to establish her as a rising force in the world of independent filmmaking and performing arts. We have Jia Singh. My fourth panelist is Mr. Vedar Joshi, who is a Mumbai-based multi-talented filmmaker known for his realistic drama and surrealistic style. His work reflects his passion for human stories that convey universal truths. Vedar recently completed his debut feature film Shunya and contributed to an Indonesia crime series. He has also directed multiple short films, music videos, and digital ad films under his production company Semicolon Films. His films have been screened at Geo Mami and he received the Best Story Award for the same. Vedar's work has been featured on Rolling Stones India, Netflix India, and various other platforms. Vedar has lent his creative expertise for a series of 51 ad films for Gujarat tourism. With a dedication to his craft and a commitment to storytelling, Vedar continues to make his mark in the world of filmmaking, capturing audiences' attention with his unique perspectives and compelling narratives, as evident by his awards and recognition. Mr. Vedar. Oh, introduction. I think the first thing that everyone of us would like to know is that how did it all start? What motivated each one of you to pursue a career in film directing, and how did you feel on the first day of shooting? There is a tag over here. What motivated you to choose the career into direction, film direction? And second, how did it feel on the first day of the shoot? We'll start with Jia.
And you're like, okay, you can't just, how do you film? People are so terrified about camera. How do you talk to people? How, you enter different worlds and you need to learn how to enter them, with taking that responsibility, ethically making your way through, realizing your own privileges and how, your own biases, your own notions. And in that process, I realized how each one was just being broken and chipped away at. All my ridiculous ideas, which were up here versus what they were telling. So I think I was excited and I was, I think, more confident. I was confident that I didn't know anything and I could just do whatever the hell I liked. Just hold it.
Saul? Yes. Hi guys, thank you for having me here. Thank you to the organizers for having me here. Well, I think my interest in filmmaking began because I had a diverse set of interests. I had an interest in photography, I had an interest in writing, I had an interest in painting, art, illustration, sketching. I had an interest in music. I used to play an instrument. And I think growing up, I was just so heavily exposed to the arts and, I dabbled in so many hobbies in the creative field that I saw film as a natural sort of culmination of all these diverse interests. And I think that that just happened very organically for me. It was just that I felt that film, to understand the language and grammar of film required some photographic sense, some sense of aesthetics and art, and some sense of music, and some, of course, a great sense of writing and great sense of emotion and storytelling. So I think that that was what actually brought me into this. And to answer the second part of your question, I think that the first experience I had directing actually was a very interesting experience, because I didn't know anything about the technicalities or the protocols on a set and how sets really ran and how things were put together. I was just thrown into the fire and I was just figuring shit out. So I don't remember saying action and cut at all. It was just start and stop, and it was just like it was just start and stop, and it was just telling the actors where to go and where to to hit. There were no concept of so-called marks. I would just tell them to stand here and stand there and take this line and say the dialogue, and even the direction that I would give in terms of expression and emotion were very, very crude and very raw, like, okay, now be sad, now be happy kind of stuff. So it was just that. So I think, but I think over just making films over and over again, I think that's taught me more about filmmaking than anything else. Just every single time, getting more precise in your direction, getting more precise in the kind of communication and the kind of words you use to extract the right emotions. Oh. Huh? What happened?
That's a work going on in the next group.
I got scared. So I think that how to get the right emotion out of the actors, what to say to them, how to work with your team, collaborate with them, and how to sort of extract the right vision and the right right kind of quality of work was something that I learned through doing it over and over again.
This is so us that we have been just pushed to the well and asked us to swim. That's the best way to learn. Riya, what is your take on that?
Hello. Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad and grateful to the Edutainment show. Very happy to be here. Thank you Ashish, and thank you for making me sit on a panel with my really good friends. All of them inspire me. Vidar I just got to know today, but in that also he's very inspirational. So my story is a little different. I started my career as an actor actually. When I was 16 years old, I started modeling, then eventually got into acting, did a lot of that, and every time I found myself in front of the camera, I was curious as to what's going on behind it. There was this curiosity that, I don't know, I just couldn't stop. My questions never stopped. I used to annoy my directors, annoy my DOP, annoy the set dadas, everyone just asking about what is going on and how does this happen. Then COVID happened and everything stopped. And that's when I started taking the writer and filmmaker inside me seriously. When I was in school, I used to do a lot of competitions, just like the two of them, and I was interested in a lot of different things. So much to a point that I was confused कि करना क्या है ज़िंदगी में? हमें photographer बनना है, हमें dancer बनना है, हमें actor बनना है, हमें modeling करनी है, क्या करें क्या? And like Kabeer said, I think film is the culmination of all of that, because you need a certain sense of everything. Because a director's job is to actually be the leader of that orchestra. And it was the best way for me to showcase my talents and showcase my creativity. So during the lockdown, I studied screenwriting, I started writing a lot of scripts, took a lot of feedback from my mentors who were shocked as to, "Tu to actor hai, tu likh kyun rahi hai?" And that was very interesting. And yeah, since then I've loved this job. I enjoy every bit of it. I love the prep, I love the production, I love the post-production, and most of all, I love how the audience reacts to a product that you've made. And that to me is the most special thing. And about my first day on set as a director, I think that is one day I will never forget, because I've never gotten that experience and that kind of a high and that kind of a thrill in every single project I've done after that, because like these guys said, it was just me being pushed into a well, not having an idea of how do I do this. सबको बोल के तो रखा है कि नहीं नहीं अभी डायरेक्टर बनेंगे, पर यार करते कैसे? No idea. Me and a bunch of my friends, we decided that if we have to make a film, we have to give ourselves a deadline. That deadline never came. So then we saw this competition called India Film Project, which was taking place in our city, where you had to make a short film in a span of 50 hours. We were like, wow, this is the best deadline. Let's do it. So we just jumped into it, not with the intention of winning, not with the intention of getting noticed, just with the intention of making something and completing what we said we'd do. So we just went out there with a camera on the streets of Bombay, shot a film, edited it in 50 hours, did the music, cast everything in 50 hours, and then we submitted the film and we were happy कि भाई film बनानी थी, film बना ली. And we ended up winning that competition. The thing that goes to what I'm trying to say is that when you do things just for the passion of it and just for the love of it, miracles happen. And that's what I'm trying to say, that I've never experienced that thrill again. So in my future projects also, I always try to tap into that. On that first day of shoot, on that first day of my experience as a director, the kind of carefree attitude that I had, I try to get that back, and I feel that is something no director should ever leave. So that was my first day of shoot as a director.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an interesting circle, I'll talk about it. But yeah, it's great being here. So I come from, like, nobody in my family had anything to do with films. बहुत doctors है घर पे, मतलब random function में से throw a strong stone वो doctor को लगेगा, वैसा scene है. So I knew I don't want to become a doctor because बहुत पढ़ाई करनी पड़ती है. The other option was engineering, of course. So I started doing engineering, but I really wanted to do something in films. I grew up on mainstream, hardcore mainstream Hindi Bollywood cinema. I didn't even know what a director does, and only thing you usually know as an audience is the actors, the actor banenge. And yeah, of course that didn't work out. But in the process of a couple of friends were making a film, and they were like, you act and all, and then I discovered the process of filmmaking itself. And it just fascinated me how so many things have to come together in order to tell one story. And then I started exploring cinema on my own, and I was like, oh, it's a very different set of films that are being made, which I haven't watched. And I think the first film I watched was Ship of Thesis. That blew my mind that, okay, this is also possible in cinema. It doesn't have to be just dance, songs, and hero, heroine, and villain, right? So after that, I started exploring cinema on my own. वो engineering वाला approach था, मैं पढ़ाई बहुत कर रहा था. So I still love studying about cinema. And so yeah, then I was like, okay, ठीक है. Then I started making my own films, really terrible. But slowly and eventually, yeah, right. So वही start and stop वाला हिसाब था. I didn't know. So first I went कि I want to make this film, and then a bunch of friends came together. We were shooting in my school, and it was more or less that only. And then once we went to CST station and put a camera there, and cops were like, you can't do this. And we were like, oh, okay, you need to. So in the process of making films, I discovered cinema more and more. And yeah, why I want to become why am I directing films? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But and I think this is the only thing I enjoy the most, and this is the only thing I know. So if not this, then there is no backup plan, I guess. So,
No plan is the best plan. Yeah. Knowing what is creative, how creative it is different to make a short film than a feature length film. Because you all are supposed to show a story in the shortest possible time in short films. It may be a 1 minute movie, 2 minute movie, 5 minute, 20 minute movie. To that 1 hour, probably 2 hours movie. How much creatively challenging it is to make a short film? Anybody here?
Going in order?
Anybody? Yeah, right.
Okay, so I guess I'm going. You want to go, Ria? No? Okay. I think what's really fascinating about the medium of shorts is that it does not have to be a feature length long film. Like, it does not have to follow the typical rules of a narrative thing. And somehow, I think especially so modern India, we're all kind of used to just the idea of narrative making. But something I am really fascinated by in short format is the ability to kind of mix genres of film almost into each other, like docufictions, like just totally, like you can have something that's really real, and then next moment you can go into something that's totally made up, and you then what's the experience? The experience of the audience can't tell, okay, hey, is that real or is that real? Right? And it kind of adds this other layer of depth to whatever you're saying. So the short film format actually, I feel, has the ability right now to actually completely question what is a story and what is a narrative and how can you tell them in different ways. Yes, your story can be like a drama about a couple, a young teenage couple who love each other. Fine, that's your story, but now as a maker, how do you want to tell it? Right? And I feel like a short format has the ability to kind of change the language and the form and play with, how can you say it in an interesting way and how can the audience absorb that information in a totally new way? Because we know that story, right? But so I think short formats have that ability to really genre mix and bend and play and really explore your own understanding of something. My perspective is that right now, short films are seen sometimes, or typically seen as a way to eventually make a longer format film. But I think that you should treat your shorts as the biggest experiment that you can possibly conduct, and really go wild, like go crazy, do what you feel is right in that moment, and later think, okay, I don't know, maybe not, or maybe. And then that becomes your style, and that becomes your language and your way of telling a narrative. So short format can also be almost deeper in some way because you're limited, and in that limited time you will make choices, and those choices can really affect the way people see your work. So I think it's a fantastic medium. And features can be, I think, I've not made mine yet, but I think they can be quite different in the way they are told, and they can be expanded, and you can go deeper in, but more can be said. And sometimes I think that kind of fires back because it's too on the nose. And people say things that don't need to be said, sometimes in longer formats. And I wish we could just kind of hint at things. So short format has that capacity, I think.
I agree actually. When I used to think of shorts, I always used to think of, okay, short film मतलब छोटी फिल्म होती है, मतलब कहानी छोटी होनी चाहिए, कम में बतानी है, कम टाइम में बतानी है, या फिर focus on a part of the story that is very critical and very pivotal and make a short film about that, or else make it about. They loved my answer, man. Thank you, I love you too. So yeah, that's what I used to think of short films as. That this is something that happens in the life of a character which happens to be interesting. So इसको short film में बना दो. या फिर it was a character study about that particular character. This is how I used to visualize short films as. Okay, they don't have a 3-act structure. It's just a short story. After I made a couple of short films, I realized that actually it's not about the story only. In fact, I think now that cinema is really not about the story, and it's about emotion. So, like Jia said, and the short films that she makes, you should definitely check them out. They are very experimental. They are very emotionally triggering. They make you feel something. You are compelled to feel. And I think that is what cinema should do, be it a short film also. So in the future, when I write the scripts for my shorts, when I make my shorts, that is what I intend to do. I think it's about the emotion. It's the way that you convey this particular visual in an emotionally compelling way, such that the audience feels something. ये तुम 5 मिनट में करो, ये तुम 10 मिनट में करो, ये तुम 15 मिनट में करो, बनेगी तुम्हारी शॉर्ट फिल्म. It can be a narrative story, it can be a very visually stimulating, just a collection of visuals that spans over a few minutes. I in fact consider music videos also short films. So it's just about perspective. With that being said, the traditional answer to this question is that Short films are basically feature-length films with 3-act structures compressed into a short time.
That's a statement. That,
That's what we were
movies
taught
are
in
not-
film school, but don't trust that.
No, but you just made a statement stating that, movies are not stories, but they are emotions. And it's a statement in itself and such a well said one. Clap for that, please.
Thank you very much.
What is your take on this, Kabeer?
Well, I totally echo what they just said. I think that short films are a platform to be bold and swing for the fences and completely play with form and style and abstract things and tell a story in a non-linear fashion and move in and out of fiction to reality and back to fiction. And it allows you the platform to do that. It allows you without the whole pressure of is this commercially so-called viable? Is it something that will be accepted by an audience? Is it something that people will understand? That's something that is not there as the short film as a medium. People, like she said, people see short films as okay, it's a 3-act structure that you either compress into a 10-minute, 15-minute nugget, or it's a 3-act structure that you take a piece of the pie from, and then you use that as an independent story, and therefore it can be open-ended, or it can start in the first minute itself. It starts with the drama and pulls you in, and then you tell a story 10 minutes after that. But I don't actually see it as that also. I mean, I also see it as like, you're capturing an emotion, or you're trying to push the boundaries of the language of cinema itself. So I completely echo what you guys said. I totally agree with that. And I mean, if any of you are making short films, I in fact encourage you to do that. Is not to be totally conventional and traditional about it and see it as okay, it's a practice for me to make a feature film and therefore compress it into a short story, but also see how you can use the form of and the medium of cinema itself to tell that story more effectively in a more powerful way. Because you will not be able to play around so much when you're making a feature, because there are many stakeholders there, which it can be very limiting also. So in a short film, if you're making a short film, try and abstract it, try and actually have fun with the medium. That's what I encourage you to do.
I just want to add on something that Kabeer said. I mean, he is the prime example of this actually. All of Kabeer's short films are very different from each other. You have something like Suttabazi, which is so narrative. And then you have something like Dali, which is the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is experimental and how. Like the whole film is made on a green screen. So I think as young directors who are just stepping into bigger things in life, short films are really liberating that way. That we can also try to find out what our style is and what are the ways that we like to convey a story.
I think what she said about films is it's not just about telling stories. Like बचपन से वही बताते कि it's a form to tell stories. It is, but there are two layers of languages, which is one is what is happening on screen, your action lines and your dialogues. But then there is cinema itself, which is a language, right? So what Gia said, I totally agree to that. That short films allows you to push the form of it in different spaces. Also, commercially, they are much cheaper than making a feature, so it allows you to literally go crazy with things. And in that, you can discover cinema, the language of cinema for yourself, and then, yeah, it becomes your style. I think when you're making a feature, a lot of things which play a part, bigger crew, a lot of money is there, you're answerable to people. So you have to work your way around. But if you're making a short film right now, don't make it like I think it shouldn't be like a larger film compressed into a shorter version, because then it will defy the form of short film itself. I think it's necessary for us to push the boundaries of cinema in short film format for us to like be allowed to do that in longer format films. And I think short films is a great way to endure the film, like practice your form, practice your writing, and understand the form of cinema. It's easier to do that. And yeah, I think feature has a lot of pressure of commercial viability, which Kabeer said. But there are filmmakers who are doing the same thing in feature length format as well. But you can start with a short film.
Very interesting. All four of you all have made short films at a very young age of your careers. I have been I mean, I have been fortunate enough to start a program at university level for film television. I have never made a film for myself. Now this question is only to answer me. Is it so important for someone to understand the craft of camera to make a film? Art of handling camera.
I think Spielberg said something. I think Spielberg actually answered this question, and he said, in quotes, he said that I am more interested in young filmmakers who understand story and understand emotions than filmmakers who know where to put the camera. So no, it's not. It really isn't.
So I can make a movie.
Yeah.
Not understanding the dynamics and technicalities of camera angles and camera work. I still can.
I mean, those are just words, right? Like, if you have your own sensibility of where you want the camera, how does the word matter? Like, whether it's a Dutch or whether it's like a long shot or whether it's a wide or a close, how does the word itself matter as long as you know, okay, hey, actually, I think it's looking good from here, or you know what, I like it from there. And it's your instinct in that moment that really matters. But at the same time, I have to say, like, on a real film set, just which is in quotes, because there's a lot of politics around what's a good and real film set, and you know, your small little independent thing. I have to say that it's possible to be taken for granted if they believe you don't know. And something I have learned is that it's important to, even if you don't know, don't ever look like you don't know. Just don't do that. Because you need to trust your own level of confidence and instinct. Just go with it, you know. But knowing will never not be helpful. If you know, it can be helpful, but there's another side to it, which is that sometimes getting lost in technique can take away the magic of something. And I have often experienced that on sets with DOPs, for that matter, who are so tied into the idea of beauty. And they just love beauty, and they want to make every shot like you're making an ad, you know, for Christ's sake. And I'm just like, okay, and suddenly they're just changing their focus, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so interesting, stop. Like, this is what we want. And they're like, oh, but this is like a technical error. That doesn't really matter to me. So you have to find your way through what is technical really about film. A lot of things that are called technical can end up becoming part of your form and style for a given shot or for a given treatment of a film. So yeah, I think you should just go ride the wave out. Yeah.
No, I think if you're asking about the technicals of it, that should I use a 50mm or a 35mm or a 24mm, that's not necessary. Of course, if you know it, eventually it will help in telling that story in a better way, but it's not necessary. And yeah, even the edit part of it, if you know, and if you're not on a real film set and you don't have time, so that helps, but it's not necessary at all. But yeah, as you keep making films, then eventually you should know why you're putting a camera.
Absolutely. But you can be taken for a ride in the process by the people around you.
Here is my middle level answer to this.
You're always giving us middle level answers.
Yeah, she's sitting also in the center. She's sitting on the fence, literally.
Strategically placed myself here. I used to be in the school of thought that मुझे तो कैमरा के बारे में कुछ नहीं आता, edit करना नहीं आता, how am I going to do this? Hence short films, because you have to be on that set, you have to sit with your editor while the film is being edited, so that you see what actually goes on to tell the story that I want to tell, to bring out that emotion that I want to bring out. And filmmaking is such a collaborative process. It's a team business. You are not alone on the set. You have your DOP with you. You have your set designers with you. You have all these people helping you out. So, I mean, use them. Use the expertise of your DOP and ensure that he conveys your story and your emotion in the best way possible. Yeah.
Very fantastically worded. We are running short of time, but I would like to have a quick one-word answer for what was that one piece of advice that you have received and has worked for you. Starting with that.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's a fantastic answer. Just do it. Ria.
Yeah, along the lines of just do it only. Actually, don't take yourself too seriously. तुम कौन हो? कौन हो तुम? Just do it.
Great. Yes?
3 words actually. Always touch, move and inspire.
Oh, lovely. Can you repeat?
Always touch, move and inspire.
Oh.
Through the films you're making. Touch,
Feel.
Touch, move, and inspire.
And what about Jaya? What is that one piece of advice that you received and has really worked for you?
I don't know. I mean, I've listened to a lot of advice. Most times it's not really worked for me, but I listen to it very honestly. I listen to it with complete
If it has not worked, Jaya, you haven't listened, you have just heard.
No, yeah, I listen to it, but it's not always work. But I always remember my grandmother, which has nothing to do with film, honestly. And she's always told me, I don't know, she used this word for me once, which was dharohar. Almost like heritage, almost like a treasure. And I feel like I have something really, I want to say things, and I feel like my voice is finding its unique self, and I feel like I just want to constantly express it. And yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Before we take official closure, all the directors will be there for you to have a one-on-one conversation outside this conference hall. As we bring this enlightening and panel discussion to a close, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the panelists for sharing their experiences, insights, and inspiration. Your voices have resonated deeply, and we are grateful for the impact you are making in the film industry. We thank you all, our esteemed audience, for joining us on this enlightening journey. Your presence and engagement have made this discussion truly enriching. We encourage you to continue supporting and championship of the work these exceptional directors, as well as embracing your creative endeavors with passion and fearlessness. As we conclude this panel discussion on breaking stereotypes in cinema, let us remember that storytelling knows no boundaries, and with each new film, each new narrative, we have the opportunity to challenge norms, redefine perspectives, and shape a more inclusive and empathetic world. Thank you all, and may the power of storytelling continue to inspire and unite all of us.
Thank you for having us, Ashish, and thank you for your
Thank you,
question.
Ashish.
Thank
A big
you.
round of applause for Ashish, please.
These guys also cheering the back.
So, for the message for you, just do it. Right? Touch, move, and inspire. Create heritage. Dharohar. Great. Good learnings. I'll request the founder of Edutainment, Deepak Chaudhary, are you around? To give a little token of appreciation to our little certificate to all our panelists here. Yes, Deepak comes here. This is the man who was supposed to come here on a Sunday morning. Voluntarily forced. Okay, can we have the certificates? You can all come in the front. Let's have Ashish's certificate first. Ashish, please. Yes. The gentleman, Ashish, yes. Ashish, the gentleman who made this panel happen. Riya Nalwadi, please. For Riya Nalwadi. Director, visual artist, Riya Nalwadi. Kabeer Khurana, filmmaker Kabeer Khurana. Gia Singh, filmmaker, performance artist. Vidar Joshi, filmmaker, Vidar Joshi. We'll have a picture together. The new generation defines it all. And we move from acting, from production, from visual artist, art. Thank you. We move to the next panel. The next panel is a little deep dive.